Chef Champion here to take you on a culinary journey I promise you've never been before. I'm here to help mold you, shape you, motivate you, and most importantly, inspire you into cooking like a champion. America, let's bring cooking back the way it used to be. I'm Chef Champion, but my friends call me Ace. Welcome to the new age of culinary learning.
The Chef Champion Show is brought to you by American Kitchen Cookware and Bakeware, Door County Original Cherry Delight, Wusthof Cutlery made with fine German steel, the original Pit Barrel Cooker, and by Glorious Malone's Fine Sausage.
All right, welcome. So, I know we're in Wisconsin, but we're going to New Orleans today. Taste of New Orleans is the theme today. We're gonna be doing two of New Orleans classics. One is Jambalaya, but we're gonna put a little twist on it. We're actually gonna use wild rice, and we're gonna use some of this delicious Nooski smoked duck. So it's gonna be a wild rice, spicy sausage, and smoked duck jambalaya. Then later on in the evening, we're gonna go ahead and make shrimp etouffee, which is definitely a New Orleans classic. So the first thing that we wanna do is go ahead and get our pan going and get a nice little heat. Remember, always use a nice heavy-duty stainless steel skillet, always works out best. So first thing I want to do is add in a little bit of this healthy avocado oil, just a little bit to the pan. So now we're going to add in our wild rice. I'm using a wild rice blend. The blend tends to work better because they par cook the wild rice, so you don't have to sit there and cook it for hours. But this cooks just no different than if you're making regular rice. The technique that we're actually doing a rice pilaf, if that makes any sense. So I'm going to give that a nice little mix, just so I can kind of coat the grains of the rice with the oil. This will help it from sticking. Now that I got a nice good coating and a nice good mix, we're going to go ahead and add in our chicken broth. Remember what I said, water sometimes is just good to drink. I always want to add something that's going to give it flavor. So I'm going to add about 3.5 cups of this chicken stock. And I'm gonna put that lid on there, and once it comes up to a boil, I'm gonna turn it down on probably about a medium-low heat and let it cook for about 20 to 25 minutes. Now while that's cooking, we're gonna go ahead and get in our other mixtures. So we'll go ahead and pick out my knife of choice. For this one, I'm gonna go ahead and use my Icon Classic. Right. Always remember, before you sharpen, or before you start to cut, go ahead and take your honing neck, run it across a couple of times so you have a nice sharp blade. So I want to do this in stages. So the first thing that I want to add is I'm going to go ahead and add in my sausage. And what I'm going to do is just cut that in half. And then I'm going to cut this on a bias, kind of like on an angle. This is strictly for presentation. It's going to look so much better if you do it this way. Easy breezy. And that's gonna go right into your skillet. And I'm using a nice meaty andouille sausage. I definitely wouldn't recommend, I know that somebody might want to throw a brat in there or something like that, but it definitely wouldn't make it authentic. Will it work? Yeah, different strokes for different folks. All right. Oh, there you go. Now I'm going to add in just a little bit of this avocado oil, just to give it a nice little fry. All right. While that's cooking, we're going to go ahead and get our duck ready. And I know duck is sometimes hard to get, but Nooski's makes it easy for you. It's already smoked and cooked. I figured it'd be a nice little twist to add duck instead of traditional chicken. So as you see, they got that fat cap on there. We definitely don't want that. So just going to pull that off, just like so. All right. And I'm going to make a couple of slices, probably about 1/4 inch thick. All right. And then I'm going to take that and slice that right in half, and then make my slices once again, because I just want chunks. All right, there you have it. Nice duck, smoked and ready to go. We're going to add that to our skillet. So as you see, we went on ahead and got our duck nicely sauteed and our sausage nicely sauteed. You want to get that nice good sear. I'll set that on our pan, let that cool off. I'm doing this in stages because traditional jambalaya, they mix it all in the same, and then they bake it in the oven. But then you lose all these beautiful peppers that you put in there because you're cooking it for 45 minutes. So I found out if you cook them in separate ways and then marry them all together at the end, you have everything cooked to perfection. sharpen up our knife. So the first thing that we're gonna do is just add a little bit more of this avocado oil. And whenever I'm cutting things, I always cut with what's gonna take the longest first. So obviously bell peppers take a little bit longer, so I'm gonna cut that first. Always remember, use the claw, 3 fingers tucked underneath the handle, index finger on the blade as well as the thumb. So we're just gonna make some slices just like so. Because the rule of thumb, whenever we're making dice, you have to slice it first, turn it at a 90-degree angle, slice it again. Voila, you have dice. As I'm cutting, I'm walking my fingers backwards, making sure I keep everything intact. Okay. Throw our bell peppers in there. All right. Then we'll go ahead and throw in our red bell pepper. You guys see how I smashed that? And that way it lays flat so it doesn't bow on you. All right, turn that at a 90-degree angle, slice that again. Now I'm gonna add in my onion. I love onions. I'm using a purple onion or a red onion. It's a little bit more sweeter. It's got a little bit more body. But whenever I'm cutting onion, I'm just gonna cut and leave just a little bit intact because I want the onion to stay intact. The worst thing that I can do is have the onion all over the cutting board and I'm chasing it around. So I'm just gonna slice that like so. And then rule of thumb, how do we get dice, you guys? We slice it first, we turn it at a 90-degree angle, and we slice it again. And I don't think we're gonna need all of that, so this seems like this would be good. We're gonna add that to it right then. Now I'm gonna season it a little bit with some of this Cajun Slap Your Mama seasoning. There you go. Now I'm gonna add in my celery. I'm gonna cut the celery on a bias, which is an Asian cut. Strictly just for presentation. Remember, presentation is everything. So you see, now I can cook all my peppers and all my onions separately till they're al dente and they have a nice crunch to them. I can't get that if I do it traditionally and throw it in the oven for 45 minutes. All right. Give that a nice little mix. Season it just a little bit more. I get my little garlic roller. I got this little garlic roller I picked up at Cook's Corner the other day. You just throw your garlic in right so, give it a nice little run, and it actually takes the garlic peeling right off. And garlic has so many nutritional values. Extremely good for your blood pressure. Now I'm gonna give this a rough chop. Bring it all back into a concentrated area. Add that garlic right there, like so. All right, now I'm gonna let this saute and cook for probably about 2 to 3 minutes. Remember, I'm not cooking this all the way. I almost wanna feel like I'm undercooking it to leave room for carryover cooking. And we'll go ahead and set that right there and we'll be right back and we'll finish up this jambalaya.
As a mother, I choose healthy snacks for my children. What they eat now can have a lasting effect on their overall health. Cherry Delight dried cherries provide a healthy snack and taste delicious. Unlike sugary treats, these tasty fruit snacks are all natural and provide essential nutrients and vitamins important in growing bodies. From chocolate-covered Cherry Delights to tart cherry juice, these snacks are full of nutrition. Order Cherry Delight online. Gift boxes are also available. Go to countryovens.com.
If you have a comment or suggestion about today's show, contact me at chefchampion.com. And don't forget to friend me on Facebook.
All right, welcome back. Now it's time to go ahead and take our wild rice and we'll put that right over there. Very important that when you guys do that, go ahead and take it out and let it cool off right away, especially if you put it in a long pan. Don't forget that, just because you pulled it off the stove does not mean that the process stopped cooking. So you always got to leave room for carryover cooking. So now we're going to go ahead and add in a little bit of fresh tomato. Now I know traditional jambalaya, they would put in tomato sauce or something like that, but it tends to make it a little bit too tomatoey. So I found that if I just put one fresh tomato in there, but as you see, I'm taking out the flesh because the flesh is what makes everything all soggy, and you don't want that. All right, I'm gonna put that right over there like so. Now we're gonna add in a little bit of fresh green onion. That's gonna go right on the plate. So I'm gonna take that plate, give that a nice little mix. Actually, I got a little bowl over here, so I'm gonna make this easier. I'm just gonna pour that right into a nice mixing bowl. Because you want to make sure all your ingredients are incorporated well together and mix very nicely. All right, let's give that a nice little mix. Now you see, now you're looking at some flavorful, eye-popping jambalaya. Oops. You can see all of the peppers in there. You can see the color of the red peppers. You can see, you can smell the garlic. You can visually see everything versus, like I said, traditional jambalaya, you're not going to see none of that. So for those of you guys that don't know, that think that jambalaya is a side dish, man, let me tell you, jambalaya is made as a meal. As you see, we have our proteins in there. We have our smoked duck. We have our smoked andouille sausage. We have all our veggies in there that we need. We have our starch and our rice. So we literally have our meal all prepared right there for you. So there you have it, authentic wild rice jambalaya with smoked duck and spicy sausage. We'll be right back.
Glorious Malone's gourmet head cheese and country pâtés are Southern deliciousness. Tender pork, blended spices, and bold flavors. Superbly handcrafted fresh, without fillers, jellies, or preservatives. Glorious Malone's quality flavors have been loved throughout the Midwest for over 60 years. Enjoy it sliced on crackers, or think outside the cracker. Try it on pizza, burgers, stuffed pork, and more. Ask your grocer for Malone's. Southern deliciousness.
Experience the bottle room with the most unique craft beer, wine, and cocktail list in the area. Open for lunch and dinner, it's a perfect setting for date night, girls' night, or your private event. Experience what's inside the bottle.
Chef Champion here to take you on a culinary journey I promise you've never been before. I'm here to help mold you, shape you, motivate you, and most importantly, inspire you into cooking like a champion.